Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. Welcome back to another Division 2 video. I got another banger of a build for you. Because with TU20.2 that just got released, we got an update for the new Vindicator rifle. Or better said, a certain talent will work now with the gun, and it's the perfect talent for this weapon. We all know that we need to be scoped in while using this weapon. Some people like it, some people might not like it, but there is a perfect talent for this, and just got updated with TU20.2, or updated, it got fixed because it used to not work with the Vindicator. As you can see in the background, we're scoping in, we're zooming in, we're shredding through everybody, just being all the way in the background, just shooting people from a distance. This is a very nice rifle build, and I had a lot of questions from my community to show some love to the rifles, so this is it. This is the Vindicator build that you kinda wanna get into because it is a great combo. This talent and this gun are just made for each other. But without further ado, let's dive right into the build breakdown and show you what this combo is all about. And starting with my specialization, we are using the sharpshooter specialization. We're running around with a rifle, and the sharpshooter specialization gives us some extra stability and then of course headshot damage for the rifles, and that's why we chose to go for that tag 50. Then jumping over to my weapons. And of course, it's going to be that Vindicator, and the rest doesn't really matter. But let's go over that Vindicator first. Of course, this is the newest added exotic to the game. This is an exotic rifle that you can unlock through the Descent game mode. While getting some NSA points, you can buy it at the NSA vendor. Of course, I went for damage to target out of cover on there, and this has a talent Ortiz Assault interface. While scoped, the weapon will highlight a random body part of each enemy. The weapon amplifies the damage by 40% weapon damage to highlighted body sections. So every time that you zoom in, every time that you aim at an enemy, there will be a certain area of his body that will pop up green. Shoot that body part to get that amplified damage in of 40%. I would say go for body shots and headshots all the time, and don't really shoot on their legs or on their feet. If the legs are a green part, I will just always focus on the chest and on the head. But if that chest and head will turn up green, you can hit so high in the crits, almost around that 3 million. Then, like I said, you can go for whatever guns you want. I chose to go for the Whisper as my secondary gun, just to go for that to get it up to that proficiency rank, and the same for your pistol. If you have those pistols already maxed out, then I would go for the TDI card. And why the TDI card? This comes with a skill tier. So if you're holding this pistol, you will get a skill tier. If you're then playing in a group, switch over to the TDI card when one of your teammates goes down. If you switch over, you will gain an extra skill tier. You can throw your revive hive, pick up your teammate, and then you can even pick up another teammate. And that's why I should go for the TDI card if you have all the pistols on proficient already. Then let's jump over to the build, and this is just what you saw. Yes, we're using a straight up high-end build. Of course, some named pieces in there to give us some more multiplicative damage. And of course, there is not really that much for the rifles. We've been talking about it a lot on stream the last couple of weeks. We don't really have that Hunter's Fury for the SMGs. We don't really have that Hotshot for the marksman rifle. So hopefully in the next few seasons, we will see some love towards the rifles, but this is the full setup. So let's go over to the build breakdown, starting with my mask. That is Gruppo, gives us 15% critical hit damage, critical hit chance and critical hit damage on everything, and a critical hit damage mod. Then for my holster, I went for Walker and Harris. Why Walker and Harris? This will give us an extra 5% weapon damage. Again, full reds, critical hit chance, critical hit damage on there. Then for my knee pads and my gloves, of course, the best in slot pieces with the Overlord ornaments that will boost our rifle damage with 10% and will give us that 8% damage to target out of cover. Roll 12% critical hit damage on that again. For the gloves, of course, the Petrov for that extra 8% damage to armor. We're not really doing it for the LMG damage, we're doing it for that multiplicative, that amplified damage on these gloves. Again, rerolled critical hit damage. Then I chose to go for a Seska backpack. Why Seska? This will boost our critical hit chances. We are not getting that much critical hit chance for that rifle, so Seska is the way to go. Again, full reds, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, critical hit chance mod on there. And I went for the talent Vigilance. Increase the total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. And because we're always pretty far away from enemies and you kinda always wanna be in cover while aiming in, you don't get hit that much, but because we always have to aim in to keep that updated talent alive, you can get hit. So what you could also do is go for a different talent. If you feel like Vigilance gets removed too much, then you can, for example, go for Companion and then put one of the skills next to you, for example, a turret. That also will get the aggro away from your enemies, and if you're close enough, that will give you that 15% weapon damage all the time. And then jumping over to the last piece, and that's what makes this build, because it's been updated with the last update from last Tuesday, TU20.2, and this is the Araldi Holdings Pristine example. This is the named Araldi chest, and this of course gives us 10% marksman rifle damage. That doesn't really do anything for us. Again, we went for critical hit chance, critical hit damage, critical hit chance mod on there. But why are we running around with the Pristine example? Because this comes with perfect focus. Increase total weapon damage by 6% every second you're aiming, while scoped 8 times or higher, up to 60%. And requires a scope with an 8 times magnification or higher. We're now holding our pistol, and that's why you will see this talent popping up red. If we switch over, we go to our Vindicator, we'll go back to it, then you will see that it's still red because it's still switched to my handgun. I don't know why I did that, but still, the focus will work right now. So before this update, focus didn't work, even though we have an 8 times zoom on that Vindicator. But now with the update, focus works, so I would go for perfect focus. If you don't have the perfect focus, what you can then do is, for example, change this chest to a Gruppo chest, and then change your mask, for example, for the Palisade. And why Palisade? Because this will give us 10% armor on kill. Again, full reds, you need to find it this way because it comes with that armor core. You need to roll it away for that weapon damage, but this will give you some extra survivability. So the choice is yours. You want to do some more damage, go for this setup with the Pristine example. But if you want to have a little bit more survivability, then I would go for a Gruppo chest and then, for example, for that Palisade mask. Or the other way around, it's a little bit easier to find that Palisade mask with full reds than going for that triple god roll or that triple unicorn for that chest piece. It's a lot harder to farm. Then next to that, of course, talking about our skills, Reviver Hive, because you're still a little bit squishy. You still can go down, so that's why I would go for that Revive Hive. And because we're always aiming in, you're always popping your head above that cover, so you can get hit and you will get hit to a certain degree. So make sure that you go for that Revive Hive. If you don't want to go behind cover, go for that shield. because we can of course use our rifles with that shield. It will give you a little bit more survivability and you can still aim in. And then the only downfall of this build is that we need to stay zoomed in for perfect focus. You have a little wiggle room of almost a second, and after that, full focus will drop away. And that's a little bit of the downfall of this build, that you always have to be scoped in. So that's why I told you you can go for something extra as vigilance, for an extra damage with companion, or you could even go for some extra survivability with bloodsucker, giving you of course that extra bonus armor. But perfect focus or focus, you need to stay zoomed in. Like I said, there is a wiggle room of 1 second, so you can unscope, look real quick, and then scope in again. And if you need to reload, just hold that scope button. Just keep scoping in until he reloads, or you want to reload yourself, because that will not, I repeat, that will not remove perfect focus or the focus talent. So make sure that you always keep zoomed in when you reload. That will keep the focus alive, because if you lose the talent focus, you will lose that 60% damage output, and it will take up to 10 seconds to get that back. So another tip for you, if you go into battle, make sure that you already zoom in. Make sure to scan over the battlefield, tag your enemies already so you know where they are coming from, you know where they are on the map, and then perfect focus is fully stacked and start beaming people down. So that's pretty much the whole overview of the build and a few different things what you could change. Let's go over to the stats real quick. It's 56% critical hit chance, 161% critical hit damage, and 95% headshot damage. And that's pretty much it. There is no other survivability on this. There's no armor on kill on this. So that's pretty much it. Hit me up in the comments down below what you think about this build. Are you testing this out? And I think this is a great change, or better said, bug fix that the talent perfect focus or focus didn't work, and I think that is a perfect talent, no pun intended, for this Vindicator, because we always have to be scoped in. Let me know in the comments down below what you like about this build. Would you change anything around this build? Would you go for more survivability, for example with bloodsucker, or would you even go for a different talent? Other talents might be good as well, because you won't lose that damage output that much, but I wanted to showcase with focus because it finally works after 20.2 title update. But that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for sticking until the end. If you liked the video or helped you out in any way or form, make sure to like this video. And if you're new here and or you want to be updated about the Division 2, the Division universe, and the future Division 3, because it is announced, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you in the next one. PurePrime